I have two things that happened to me over the past week or so that I'm very late on, and I haven't said anything about it.
Mazel.
Well, I don't know what that means.
I was making a joke, like I was making an elementary joke, like maybe you like did the deed or something.
Oh, thank you.
Brunch. Hit it, boys.
Happy holidays, Pete.
What holiday are we talking about?
All of them.
Okay.
All of them, just trying to keep everybody happy. Although, actually, what if we went back to Merry Christmas, Pete? So, as like locked in, unequivocal, no questions asked, soy boy beta cucks, we're saying Merry Christmas. That would make the people who hate Happy Holidays really upset, because then they're on the same. Then by them going around saying Merry Christmas,
It's not tough anymore.
They're on this right. They're on the same side as the soy boy beta cucks. But it's that time of year, man. You ever notice sometimes you'll pop into, like, I don't know, the mall or CVS or something, and they got the Christmas stuff out, and you're like, already? Whoa,
And
this
then
is
you get
a
in your
little
car.
early for this.
You get in your car, and what do you know it? All I want for Christmas is you.
Oh my God! You'll hear it on the radio stations will start playing the Christmas music. I kid you not, Pete. Starbucks, they were doing cups. They were like Christmas. They were actually just the green cups, but I think the green was like a forest green,
Ooh.
like a Christmas
special
tree,
green.
Christmas
A
tree
pine green.
type of green. So this
And I went into CVS and I saw the decorations, and I said, "Are you kidding me? It is not even Thanksgiving."
yeah, like, can we wait for Halloween to end before we start putting up all the Christmas stuff?
And then I said to my buddy, "Can you believe how early it gets dark now?"
Oh man, some of these places with it's like they're in a big rush, and every year it seems like it's even earlier than the year before, that everyone's in a rush to put out Christmas stuff. I was over at my friend's house for a Christmas party the other day. He's got Valentine's Day decorations out. It was crazy. I'm like, can we wait until June to celebrate my freaking birthday? It was a surprise party for my birthday. It was ridiculous how everyone's just why are they celebrating this stuff so early? That's our take for today.
So anyway, what plans you got for the 4th of July?
I mean, is it like, can I even wear white after Labor Day? Jeez. Everybody's in this big rush celebrating all these holidays. That's the worst. That actually does kind of tie in to one of my thoughts I have this episode, which is like, when you've got the thought to point out, like, it's too early to be doing Christmas stuff, like, you're more than 1 year old, right? You've experienced this before.
That's a feeling that I get.
This is a new thought for you.
It's a feeling that I get for almost everything these days, and I'm starting to understand why old people are so miserable. Just because, like, it's all a cycle, and it's all just so repetitive, and I'm really not interested in having the same fucking debate.
Can you believe?
Yes,
It's like,
yes, because it happened 12 months ago.
right. And like as you get older, time just all melts into one, so it doesn't even feel like 12 months ago. It feels like it was yesterday. Back in my beat days, when I was on my Sergeant O'Leary shit, just walking the beat before I'd go to my bartending gig at night. Do you know what I'm referencing?
No.
Moving out. Sergeant O'Leary's walking the beat. Now he becomes a bartender.
No.
He works at Mr. Cacciatore's down on Sullivan Street, across from the medical center.
I believe
that song, that is such a descriptive song.
There's really no room for like interpretation.
Right. Although a lot of those songs, you're like, this has got to be about sex,
Yeah.
right?
And when it's so straightforward, you're like, that can't be what he's actually singing about, right?
That song is about Billy Joel describing like a few people. I bet he went about writing that song like, I'm going to do the Paul McCartney thing where I'm going to make up my own little world and sing about these characters, and Desmond as the barrow at the marketplace, and Molly as the singer in the band, all these people that I like to make up, Maxwell and the judge and all these different people. And Billy Joel's like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to create these fun little characters. All right. Anthony, he's living at home. He's like never cleaning his room. His mom's up his ass about it. There's a cop who's got a side job, and it's like the least interesting story. And it ends with that Need Cash Now commercial of the guy sitting on the sofa
J.G.
calling.
Wentworth?
Yeah, being like, hey, I want to get an apartment. And they're like, okay, then move out. And that's that Billy Joel song.
It's like the Counting Crows when they did Mr. Jones, and everybody was like, "This song's about his penis, right?"
Did people think that?
Yeah.
Devotees will remember. I commonly misinterpret Counting Crows lyrics. I thought that hanging around, for some reason, I thought he said, "Last night I had sex so good." When he said, what did he say? I had something so good.
Yeah.
Which he's probably talking about that.
Yeah.
But I thought that he was like being the OG Lana Del Rey, like of like making his lyrics like
I'm having sex
man,
and I'm the best at
like
it.
darling when we were fucking like whoa Lana, look, you're active. God bless. Sounds like couldn't be me, but you know, like sounds like you're leading a fun life.
Maybe throw in a buzzword here or there.
Let's tone down the.
Let's not go in a straight line there.
Right? Yeah, maybe a little.
Throw in a little misdirection.
Euphemisms. One of her songs on her new album. She was like I think she basically paraphrases what I thought were those Counting Crows lyrics. She says like, "Last night you fucked me so good," and I'm like, well, good for you guys. Like you had good sex. Every now it happens to everybody. Every now and then.
Get a fucking room.
Yeah, get a room. Anyway. Back in my beat days, first year around trade deadline time, go around to the players. You're like, hey, is this kind of a weird time of year where like some guys might be traded? You know, if you're in your last year of your contract, you don't know, am I staying, am I going? Is my friends gonna like? What's that like? And they tell you, and it's kind of stock stuff of, you know, you can't worry about it. You gotta, they're gonna do what's best for the team. Everybody's just gotta blah blah blah.
Can't really worry about things that are out of your control.
Perfect. Yeah.
That's a big one.
And then, like a year later, trade deadline's coming up, and walk in, and I'm not throwing shade at my colleagues, but same kind of thing starts. And
shit.
In my head, I was like, wait, we know the answers to the. Do we got bad memories or something? They're gonna say this, and then like obviously they knew more than me, which is like you just need them to repeat
need
it.
them to say it.
You need the current players
it.
to say it. But that's the way I feel about when people are like, you won't believe what they had up at the mall today, and I'm like. If it's like a piñata, then that's going to be
some
cool shit to me. But if you're going to tell me you walk into the mall today, the mall, which is like the Christmas decoration capital of anywhere,
and we're a month away from Christmas, and they had Christmas decorations.
They had Christmas stuff. That's like honestly saying like I went to the North Pole, and you know what those fuckers were building? If you were telling me like they were like building like a wall and there's like some controversial shit in play, that's a story. If you went to the North Pole, you saw they were working on toys. Yeah. Folks, you lost me. I knew they were doing that. Yeah,
I mean, like I feel that way about so many things now. It's just like, goddamn, my dishes are dirty again. I just took them out of the dishwasher.
Yeah,
I got to wash dishes again. I got to do my laundry again. Shit never stops. It's all a cycle.
I gotta go to the gym again.
Yeah.
I went last month.
I went food shopping 2 months ago. I got to go food shopping again.
Man.
Everything's a cycle, and I hate my life.
Does that make us... I feel like there's some like layers to the cynicism there, though, because I think that we're taking issue with the cynicism of dwelling on pretty standard occurrences, right?
Yeah.
But us taking issue with that cynicism, isn't that a bit cynical?
Now
I hope I didn't lose you. Like, I hope that's
my brain just completely shut off.
I hope that's not certain. It can't be too deep because I said it. But there's probably some cynicism in that, like where you hear somebody voicing a common complaint, and you're like, I knew you would complain about that.
Yeah, but it's such a common complaint that like you're basic if you complain about it.
Right.
It's basically like oh, you watch The Office. You're gonna do Office quotes. You're so cool.
One of my friends is huge on that. He loses his mind when people either have office takes, just like randomly present office takes, or like speak in office gifs. So now naturally he and I only speak in office references and office gifs.
But I don't want to be that guy who's like, shut the fuck up. It's 2019. Like The Office is a great show.
It.
And yeah, exactly.
And we've gone through it a million times. Like
right,
the takes
that's
have been.
What I'm saying. Like it's the same thing. We've gone through the fucking Christmas. How early is it? Too early for Christmas? We've gone through that so many times. We're all fucking grown adults. At some point, you just you have to say that okay, we've passed the point where this is interesting. And I think that that's what the case with The Office. And I think that like if you watch The Office in 2019, I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think that like Jared's doing it right now. I don't know if you've seen that. Jared's tweeting about The Office like crazy. I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you get to go through that. I'm jealous that you're going through for the first time.
Sure.
But you don't get to like go out and be like, guess what I'm doing? Let's talk about The Office. You missed the boat on it. You have to eat that
right after this and tell him to do the exact opposite. And tell him to start incorporating like Stanley eye roll gifs into like everything he does, and basically like rebrand himself as
Office super fan.
I just found out about The Office, and I'm super excited. Like years ago, I read this great book about the Beatles, and I had all this new information about the Beatles to share, and it had to have been brutal. Because like to anybody older than to anybody like middle aged or older, they either had some awareness of all this like new information I just unlocked, or they're like, yeah, like I just don't really care about that. And
right.
I'm like, hey, do you remember when they recorded Tomorrow Never Knows? Because that's like they weren't making songs like that before, and they're like, the Beatles were a very, very groundbreaking band. I'm like, yeah, but like, what, were you like freaking out when that happened? You must have been freaking out.
It sounds like every
Beatles. You hear about this?
Every conversation that I have about hockey with like my friends, it's like because I'm just like talking about hockey all the fucking time, and then my friends are like, "Oh, you see what happened in hockey?" It happened 2 weeks ago, and I covered it like relentlessly for a week. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, boy, Pasternak scoring a bunch of goals, huh?
Yeah, it's. I'm happy that people are enjoying it, but shut up.
Look,
and I feel, and it
when
makes
you reach
me
the level of the Bad Boys, and you're just like tugging at it, and I was just like literally telling you a story about how I was catching up with somebody in a band I like. Just like nerding out to them about their own music and shit. So total hypocritical shit right now. Just be like, you just got to know like when I'm in the mood to talk about exactly what I'm in the mood to talk about. You noobs.
Yeah, I mean,
don't just go up to Pete and talk to him about.
But
hockey.
I feel like I swallow a lot of pop culture things when I'm late on that train because I feel bad about it. Like I feel bad that I am so late. And that's
I do
like
that.
my blind spot, and I'm like, I know I can't talk about this.
Yeah.
I'm loving it, and I want to talk about it, but I just can't because everybody's already had that conversation. They're not going to be excited to talk about it. So
you did Phoebe Bridgers like very tastefully.
Yeah, so I just brought it up. That I was like, hey, I know that I'm late.
I hadn't checked her out, and now that I have, I hope everyone who enjoys her would like to maybe
Please
have this like
in.
community of loving Phoebe Bridgers. I've actually experienced that recently where I've gone back and looked at my world-renowned top 50 songs of the year playlists.
Yeah.
And I love now finding songs that I didn't know, and I'm like, when's this song from? I heard a song recently that I was like, this is the best and coolest song I've ever heard in my life, and it was from either 2017 or 2018, and I like it was called what was it called? It's called Breakthrough by Dirty Projectors, who is a band that in general I can't do this right. I'm doing it to close friends, where I'm like, hey, don't kill me.
They're pretty big because I know their name.
Right. I'm like, don't, and like they're big with everybody. Like basic what's the deal with Christmas lights? People like them, and like my musical, like very basically like my like
So
musical doctor friends love them and are like huge fans of Dave Longstreth's songwriting, because it's all, in short, every song you hear by them is like a sound and a song that you've never heard before in your life. You're never like, oh, this has like a cool Bruce Springsteen vibe. No, it's just all like super like new creative stuff, innovative stuff. So I had to do that. I had to reach out to like 2 or 3 friends, one of whom was Jeff, and just be like, hey man, don't get pissed. I never really listened to Dirty Projectors, and I'm just starting to now, and they're really good. And he was like, oh, great, cool, here are some songs. So let's all be more like that. But generally,
I have 2 things that happened to me over the past week or so that I'm very late on, and I haven't said anything about it.
Mazel.
Well, I don't know what that means.
I was making a joke, like I was making an elementary joke, like maybe you like did the deed or something.
Oh, thank you.
Not our kind of humor.
No.
It makes me
Very
happy
on
that
brand.
joke didn't land. It made me very happy that joke didn't land.
Phoebe Bridgers.
Yeah?
How about Leon Bridges? Because I fucking love Leon Bridges.
And, I mean, as alphabetical proximity goes, very similar. Like, if you like Phoebe
Well, I actually
Bridgers,
found out about him because I was looking for a Phoebe Bridgers album, and I was
you
like,
were
who's this
flipping
guy?
through a karaoke, like, songs available
I
book.
chose C4 instead of C5.
Right. And you ended up getting a Leon.
Love of my life.
So Leon Bridges is one that I've seen him live before, and he's amazing, but I've not taken the deep dive on him, and that's like a total I don't get why I haven't.
Yeah, I mean, I have those all over the place where it's
Yeah.
like, I know I would love this person if I just put in some effort.
Yeah, people will be like, "Oh, you must be a big fan of this gal, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, you know what? I haven't really listened to her yet." And they're like, "Oh, I thought you're like a big music guy." It's like, you can be really into
Do you know
music.
how much music
right,
there is?
There's all of it. The correct answer to that question is there is the entirety of music. That's how much music there is. So even like the people that know,
That's
like,
why I stopped listening to music
why I
mostly.
gave
because
up.
there's just too much music.
you know, it's really exhausting. It's like
Yes.
if you're like dating and stuff, and you're
That's why I
like,
stopped watching Netflix too, because every time I logged on to Netflix, I was like, "Oh, there's 8 more things that I kind of want to watch. I'm just gonna stop watching everything."
oh god, I haven't watched a new Netflix program in forever. I tried watching the Paul Rudd thing. Love you, Paul. That show stinks.
That
huh?
show's not good.
That was
It's a
bad.
very cool idea.
Very cool. Yeah.
Very cool idea. The execution, oh boy,
Got
not for
Tom
me.
Brady saying that he hates Robert Kraft. It was his big, exciting thing. Oh boy, was that an annoying couple of days.
Yeah,
But yeah, that show wasn't good.
I didn't really expect it to be good, but I expected it to be more interesting than it was.
Yeah.
It just really didn't deliver on the
Dude,
premise.
I tried watching 2 episodes and fell asleep a total of 3 times.
That's not good.
So like the first episode, I had to start again that next night, and then fell back asleep before it was over. And I was like, man. Then I was like, I think I got it now. I think I've probably pieced together the entire episode. Went to the second episode like a light.
I don't know what it is about that show, but like that show is the way that it's shot and just like the tones in that show are insanely boring. And I don't know
Yeah.
if it's they do that purposely because like Paul Rudd's character kind of hates his life, so it's like a little dreary. But like the way that show is shot and like the settings and things, it's miserable and
Yeah.
it's not enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, I can't think of one exciting thing about that show other than a sideshow it created that
Right.
had nothing really to do with the show.
And like I always want to watch Paul Rudd. I very much enjoy spending time with Paul Rudd, but he just didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
There's nothing to really take away there.
If
But
you go ahead.
I was gonna say the other thing that I got in late on is I just started watching Schitt's Creek, and it's very funny.
Oh yeah, that's one I gotta do. I'm gonna do Schitt's Creek, and I'm gonna do what's the extension? What's it called? Succession.
Yes, extension.
And I don't think I've seen a lot of Succession gifs, but
You probably have. You didn't. You probably just didn't know.
maybe
that
it just
was
went over
Succession.
my head. But I'm going to want to do what I want Jared to do with The Office. But it won't be. It wouldn't have that big of an impact because The Office is like ubiquitous, and Succession is more
but
kind of the current darling.
Yeah, it is the current darling, and like you wouldn't be that late on Succession. It's only two seasons in.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be like as annoying for you to be like, guess what I'm watching.
Yeah. You know what I did watch the other day? Dropped the old $15 on iTunes.
Ooh, for what?
The only place you can get it, iTunes. Director's Cut, Midsommar.
Oh, no way.
Watched it over like 3 sittings. It was long as hell. And it was... I was texting with Randy. It's basically just like an extra 40 minutes of Mark going, oh my God. There is like 2 extra oh my gods, and that makes it
Worth every penny.
I was gonna say I love Mark, but
That'd be problematic.
like the charm of Mark is that he is the least lovable person in the world. In general, Randy's right. Theatrical version, way better. It leaves you with more. Like remember when we saw like the big discussion we had after was like they didn't deserve to die. Like this movie's positioning it as though like these guys all messed up in their own ways and they all had to die, when in reality like they just
It was
took
just
these
murder.
people and they murdered them, which ultimately is true. But there's like the discussion to be had of like, well, with this society and like how they view things and how like they sacrifice people and blah 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 blah, like maybe they didn't even think they were doing anything that like the Harga didn't think they were even doing anything that bad. You watch the director's cut,
Does it sort of like water down the discourse of like...
it just makes you hate Christian 5 times more.
Yeah, I don't like
He
that.
gaslights the Christ out of her. Like in her darkest moments, he does. I think that Randy said this. So
Yeah, that was. I mean, that was the big like takeaway that we had when we talked about the extended cut, was that like it not. I don't want to say over explains, but it builds on like the terribleness of that relationship and makes you sort of lean towards like he deserves to die.
Yeah, like remember when she after the party when she's like, "Yo, that was uncomfortable for me." Like learning that you're planning on going on this trip without me, and he was like, "Okay, whatever. I think I should just leave." And she was like, "Can we please talk this through?" And he was like, "No, I feel like you're just gonna like blah blah blah."
Yeah.
And he was like totally putting it on her. She's like, "Please just like sit with me and let's talk about it." And then she's apologizing to him, which is like the most heartbreaking thing you can
Right.
watch, because like we've all been there before where like someone's being like a dick to us, but we're so like hopelessly chained to them that we're just like, just don't be mad at me. Look, I'm sorry. So there's like a lot of that, and then he does the, I mean, I was planning on inviting you, and you ruined the surprise, and you're like, get me, like, I know there's like 2 hours left, but I want to skip right to this guy being on fire, and can confirm way more blood
Oh, really?
when he runs out. No, like not like in the
on
movie.
his penis.
Yeah, when
That's fun.
when he runs out. So it's a worthwhile watch, but the theatrical version is so much better. And I would like to amend a maybe hasty, just excited point that I made when I was young and impressionable 1 week ago. I wouldn't say that Parasite is my number 1 movie. I would say
Ooh.
it's number 2. I'd still say that, like, ultimately, pound for pound, because I've now seen Parasite and the Lighthouse, which we can hit on briefly. I know that you saw The Irishman, so we
I
can
did.
do a little data exchange.
Okay.
But I've now seen like some of the weird heavy hitters of the year of the uncomfortable film, and ultimately, I'm like, I just love Midsommar. Like as I was watching the director's cut end and like the fire and the shot of Danny at the end, I was like, that this is such a good movie. It's totally fucked, but it's such a
ultimately,
good
I
movie.
feel like Midsommar will probably end up being more memorable than
Yeah.
Parasite.
Yeah.
like Parasite is unbelievable, and
Par-
it's one of the best movies of the year. But I feel like when
I would
somebody asks
recommend
me-
Parasite before I would recommend Midsommar. Like,
Yeah,
it
it's
takes
more
a
accessible.
certain type to. Yeah, right.
But I think like at the end of the day, once 2019, you tie a bow on it. People like what are the most memorable movies from this year? Midsommar's got to be like very close to the top.
Yeah, I mean it's got, like I said, like these just iconic shots and these
You've just never
iconic
seen
moments.
anything like it.
Yeah, and that movie's not supposed to hit you in the feels, other than again like whether like
it really is.
whether you've had like a bad relationship or whatever. Like maybe there are some ways with which you can identify, but the pellet scene with, and I love saying that guy's name differently every time.
Yeah,
because sometimes I feel like
I did have to process that.
that
one.
was the worst I've said it. I generally say Pella, which is what his name is, but then you feel like the guy that's like, I haven't eaten it all today. I only had a croissant.
Yeah, you're like it's actually Guy Fieri.
What do people say? Guy Fieri?
Yeah.
Guy Fieri. I mean, as somebody with a lot of Armenian relatives,
Yeah.
I've heard some botched pronunciations of names over the years. So I'm used to, as just a stupid American guy, I'm used to playing the mental card of like, oh, these people don't know anything. Let me guess. You think it's called hummus?
Is it hummus?
We say hummus.
Wow, that sounds problematic.
Right. Even as a child, I was like, we're going to have to say it a little differently.
We're gonna have to be a little more inclusive on this snack table.
Yeah. I don't... You want a fun little fact about me? Not a big hummus guy.
Wait, what? Say it again.
I wasn't saying it that way as a joke. That's literally how we say it, and I wasn't making a joke about like, hey, the way we say it sounds like, well,
You don't
I'm not
like
a big how you say the smashed
hummus.
chickpeas dip.
You're not a
thing.
big hummus guy.
I don't do hummus. You
Really?
southerner.
I think it's pretty good.
I think everybody loves it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just generally not my jam.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm more of like a barbecue sauce guy.
I got these toasted Ritz or these.
Got any Sweet Baby Ray's? Hey, I see you doing your little pretzels and, again, I'll clean it up for you dorks. Hummus. Do you got any, like, chicken and a biscuit and Sweet Baby Ray's? You ever have chicken and a biscuit? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
It's the in the blue box. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
You ever do this? Yeah. You feel me? Nah. It's a ladies, you'll if you're with me, you'll know what I'm saying. It's a snack. It's a cracker. It's in a blue box. I feel like I've only
You've
said
only
like
described
10 times.
You've only described that the box
All right,
is blue.
so picture a blue box. I think the font is it says like chicken and a biscuit in maybe yellow, and it's basically just like crackers with I don't know, the closest flavor I could say would be like some like sort of like bouillon or maybe even like chicken ramen flavoring.
I don't.
It's
no idea.
delicious.
Absolutely no idea what this
Hey,
is.
it's the given season of Christmas. I'm gonna give you a box of those things. They're very good, but they're one of those
I
things
believe you.
that like a lot of people I think wouldn't even try.
I mean, it doesn't sound appealing.
It's like you're like a thing that is no meat that is made to taste like meat, but it's not like a tofu thing where at least I get some cool points out of it. Like you're still trash if you're eating those things. But yeah, those are good, and I bet if you dipped them in Sweet Baby Ray's, it would be good. Better than pretzels and
I mean, speaking
hummus.
of feeling like trash and barbecue sauce,
Yeah.
I went to Austin and I really
Ooh.
hit the barbecue scene hard.
good.
I went to two places that we didn't go to last year. Both were better than the places that we went to last year.
Second place we went, I preferred, but I think that was because we were hungriest.
What was that?
When we tried to go to the
Downtown?
the art place with breakfast tacos that I
Yes.
like, but that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
closed.
I believe that one. I forget what that one was called, but it was like downtown Austin.
Yeah, that one's like an
tourist
easy
trap.
tourist trap
Yeah.
one. Yeah, like
went to Terry Black's.
okay.
Which was like the best brisket that I've ever had. It It was
Nice.
very, very good. And then I went to Valentina's, which was like more Tex-Mex,
Nice.
but it was so fucking good. I got a pork sandwich that was like pulled pork and also had kielbasa or some sort of sausage in there, and it was a pound of meat. There was coleslaw. There was fucking just like all this
Hummus.
sauce and no hummus.
Just
but
a nice little chickpea spread.
it was
Yo, why do people...
so good.
Yeah?
So good. And I pounded down some Mexican Cokes.
Oh, now you're speaking my language.
Yeah.
Becoming more of a... not more of a, like, I don't know, like... On the odd opportunity, I've been killing seltzer of late.
Really? Okay.
I have just been inhaling that stuff. I got to stop by Whole Foods because followers of the Deej Instagram might recall a little while ago he realized there's a beverage brand called Waterloo. So every time he saw it, posted.
Gotta do an Instagram story with Mamma Mia.
Yeah, but it was the Cher version that's on the
really?
Cher ABBA album thing.
Her full cover album.
Yeah, I redid Mamma Mia 2 the other day. First time in a long time. I was cleaning the apartment, tossed on Mamma Mia 2, and God, if it's not the best movie.
Yeah, you tricked me. You basically trapped me. You said, "Hey, guess what song is the intro song for
Time Crisis.
For Time Crisis?" I listened to it. Heard what is it? Fernando? What song was it?
One of Us.
One of Us,
which
yeah.
is like
amazing, and
might be like ABBA Rushmore.
and I hit the notes hit.
Yeah.
Hit differently, and I was like, I gotta watch Mamma Mia 2 within like the next month.
Yes.
You just like the countdown immediately started. I was like, I gotta see Mamma Mia 2 as soon as I heard this song.
Did you watch it again?
I did not yet.
That song, that might be the best song off the Mamma Mia 2 soundtrack.
You think so?
I'm crazy about that song anyway.
I don't know, man.
And I just like that song anyway. It has like a very modern feel to it. Like that song doesn't sound like a song that would come out in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah, it sounded like it literally could have come out last week.
Right. So for some reason that lends itself to like they barely tweaked it at all, like arrangement wise to make it more modern. It just sounded great. Got Amanda.
Seinfeld.
I'll never know her name. I'll never know it.
Amanda, science homework.
Yeah, girlfriends are always talking about science class. Yeah, that's one of the great ones, and they completely changed the lyrics, but the name of the game is great in that song, in that movie.
I don't like that song.
That's one of my. I don't know what we kicked around, like maybe doing like a top ABBA plus the one by Elton John playlist one of these days, but I just don't even know what I would do because I think of Name of the Game and I'm like, yeah, it's probably my favorite ABBA song. And then I hear Mamma Mia and I'm like, well, that's the best ABBA song. And then I hear One of Us and I'm like,
It's the number one ABBA song.
that is Rushmore ABBA, probably the top one, actually.
Top one ABBA.
Top one ABBA. They're just so... You know what, like... ABBA's got all these hits, right? And I'm trying to walk around, trying to get all these Christmas wreaths out of my way, and it's like ABBA song after ABBA song.
So what you have to do now is you have to go on Twitter and pretend like you just discovered ABBA and be like, anybody heard of ABBA? It's an awesome band.
You know
Check
the
it out.
Dancing Queen guys? Well, turns out it's not just guys. They got some chicks in the band, and they got some other songs too, man. They got some good, like it's a little
How
weird,
are more
but it's
people
good.
talking about these guys?
Yeah, why isn't anyone talking about ABBA? Everyone's talking about Dua Lipa, and is that how you say that person's name?
Dua Lipa, I think.
Dua
right?
Lipa.
It's the best when somebody says like, "Hey, how come more people aren't talking about insert thing that literally everybody has talked about at some point?"
Right,
in
that
their
you're
life.
just like super late on. You know, hey, everybody wrote that Beyonce song. Well, I'm here to tell you, Freddie Mercury wrote Bohemian Rhapsody all by himself. So, I don't know, why don't you suck on that?
We don't have an ad read today, but
Yeah. I had a fake one ready to go.
did you really?
Yeah. I was just gonna do like a quick today's show is brought to you by back to the show.
Well, today's episode is brought to you by David Gordon, because he had a birthday like a month ago. And we were supposed to send him a nice little video that said, "Happy birthday, David."
We were asked to.
We
weren't supposed to.
Okay, we were asked to, and we might have said yes.
Yeah.
We might have forgot
money.
about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
We accepted payment for it.
And we didn't deliver. So now that it's like a month later, we're going to give an early 10-month or 11-month happy birthday to David Gordon for 2020. So thanks for listening, David. Unless you just stopped because you did find out that we were supposed to say happy birthday and forgot about it.
A lot of people have been asking what's with all the Porches reads of late. Not going to get into it and not going to start anything that's going to upset anybody. But currently, Porches is the only company that is having us do reads.
That's not true.
What?
That's not true. We got one company.
So we've
that
got
has stuck with us through.
At any rate, not
through anything.
Stuck with us.
Not
talk.
stuck. But
just
no, but like we've got one company that has
our
been
number of
fiercely loyal.
Our number of advertisers has changed.
Yes.
And doesn't matter why, but our number of advertisers has changed. Pete responsibly has thought, wouldn't it be smart of us to start doing some things with the Patreon to maybe make up for that number changing? I historically love that people do the Patreon, and I love the purpose of Patreon, which is this is a thing that's being made anyway. I don't have to pay for it, but I like it, so I'm going to toss it a few dollars. And so God bless all you guys that toss us a little money here and there, big or small.
We
really appreciate it. I've always, though, like if there were to be like a pro Patreon person in this relationship and an anti Patreon person in this relationship, I am very anti-Patreon.
You're very anti-Patreon, and it's hard to work with. But
right.
I agree that we said from the very beginning that we're not going to lock out content from anybody who like listens to the show and has listened to the show from the beginning. We don't want to like take anything away from somebody.
Right. So, and even if it's like there's an extra thing that we could do that would be cool, and Patreon people could get that only, I don't like putting any good ideas, unless it's for like a live show or something like special we're going to do. I don't like putting any of our creativity into anything but the podcast, because I think that this is a very good podcast and I never want us to lose focus of that. So all the good stuff has to be in the podcast, because the person who throws us a few bucks is as important to me as the person who doesn't, because they can't afford it, because whatever. And I know that like giving us $3, $5, I don't know, $10, whatever dollars a month might not be too crazy for somebody, but it does make a difference, and people who can't afford that just can't do it. So anyway,
no, I totally agree.
This is
$1 and $2, by the way, is what our Patreon is.
Okay, cool. $1 or $2. Word. This is a way this is very early. Just had this idea like 5 minutes ago, but if you want to get us to do stuff in the show that we would want to do, like we would have approval over it, and like if you want to say like, hey, for example, like DJ did the Creed cover, have him cover this song, here's a few dollars to do it. Or you guys talked about the Dawson's Creek episode, talk about this episode, would love to see you guys' thoughts on this.
We want to do that stuff too.
That's a way that I think that we could make the Patreon mutually beneficial. But I just never want to. It's like the Mark Zuckerberg thing in the social network, which for some reason recently everyone is like crying about how good that movie is. Like, again, it's like with the Office thing. Like, yeah, we know that was a really good movie.
I think it's probably just because like everybody hates Zuckerberg now and Facebook, and now they're like, oh yeah, that movie paints him as a terrible person.
Oh right, yeah. If you've got
Yeah, and that's
fun
not to
ideas that we could do or whatever.
And you don't.
We're
have
not. We're not going to be
subscribe to Patreon too if you have ideas or whatever.
Right.
But I do think that's a good way to approach it.
So let's say this. Say somebody's like, "Hey, we want you to do this." What if we say like, "We're going to do this if there's like $50 in the Patreon by next week." Is that how you can you treat Patreon like Venmo or something?
I mean, most of what happens on Patreon is like you subscribe. You're a patron like per
every month. Yeah.
So I don't know like what there are. You can like set goal things that say.
Oh
like,
right, yeah. So like
if we
Kickstarter
hit,
style.
if we hit this number or whatever, then we'll do this or whatever. Like
Yeah.
right now, our only goal on Patreon is when we reach $10 million, we'll buy the house next to Zac Efron's.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I'm old school, and Pete is very. I definitely Pete and I go back and forth on this all the time, and I think that we both understand each other's viewpoint. But Patreon was the Pomplamoose guy, Jack Conte?
Yeah.
Jack Antonoff. He and Natalie Dawn were making all these cool videos that everyone was loving. And then everyone got sick of them, and then they became like Macklemore, and everyone was like, "Oh, you liked Pomplamoose, dork?" Pomplamoose had some awesome songs. Beat the Horse, an absolute classic. But they were like, "Hey, if you're liking this stuff and you want to like throw us $5, feel free." It's now,
It's
I
like
think,
a donation bin, sort of, kind of like tip jar.
right. So you don't, again, that was the most haphazard way anyone's ever asked you for money, because really, I don't care whether or not we get the money. I'd rather the number of advertisers be higher, but that's not a world in which we live right now.
Yeah.
So
I
while
just
the
wanna
number
make
is
sure.
low, if you want to give us money,
Yes.
and if you want to also be part of the creative process, we're willing to hear
love
you
that
out.
idea.
Like I was watching this stupid. This is gonna be mean. I came across a YouTuber on a website the other day.
Was it YouTube?
YouTube, and there is a YouTuber. I called her stupid, and she's not. It's just very alien to me, and I kind of got anxiety watching it. And I watched like 60 of her videos, and a lot of her videos were like, "What if this song was by this person?" And it was like very like something Seinfeld 2000 would mock. By the way, rest in peace, Seinfeld 2000.
Banned from Twitter.
I don't know what he did,
I have no idea.
but he's currently banned. But it's like, what would it sound like if this song was done by this person? And I watched like 50 of them, and I was like, I know how all this is going to be. I know how she's going to do all these things, and just like it was like very Steve Dangle to me, and it just like wasn't super.
We've gone over this.
for me.
YouTube is not your place to live.
We really yet to find where my place to live is.
Even your roommate is like, this is not your place to live.
But even but like if it's like a final product of like, if you want us to do like a something like when we did the diss track to LCP,
Yep.
or like I said, the Creed thing,
or like even
whatever.
even if you want us to do fake reads.
Yeah.
I like the idea of doing fake reads that have been submitted if they're good enough. If
I'll
you
tell
got-
I'll tell you this. If you submit a fake read, I'll probably clean it up a little bit, probably make it funnier, and then we'll go from there. But like you'll get like a co-write on that, so that's
You
pretty
get writer's
cool.
credit.
That's you get like a executive producer type thing. So I don't know, like if you just like have ideas, and maybe we should open back up the email address. Do we have that listed anywhere?
I don't think it's listed anywhere, but it's brunchthepodcast
At
gmail.com.
gmail.com. And people used to write us, and people used to like ask us questions, and like not like, hey, answer this question on the podcast, blah, 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 but more like, hey, like I'm having a rough time, like what do I do about this? And
Man, we had
then
some good ones
guessed
back
what
in the
to
day.
do. And
The one about the wedding.
there was a wedding
one that was crazy.
Yeah.
I'm totally down with doing that stuff again. While we're doing some housekeeping, I have added to the playlist this week.
Ooh.
You'll never guess. There's some Leon Bridges on there.
nice.
But yeah, the playlist is still kicking. We're still following through with it. We're not going to do it like on every show or whatever.
Here's what we're adding. But we should do. I missed the playlist is hot tweets though. That's
okay.
That's
Down to get back to that.
Yeah, playlist is hot. Here's who we added. Boom. People. That generally I think has driven some subscribers. I was always pleasantly surprised by how many people followed the Spotify one. And it's good that you mentioned music, so I'll say. Who was ever talking about music?
That was a very chaotic discussion of Patreon. But literally all you need to know is that...
That's because you were like having a slight panic attack as I was voicing. Because you knew where I was going, and you were like...
Well, because
both sides need to be represented here.
Right, yeah. Basically, my position has always been I want the Patreon people to know that we appreciate...
For sure.
That they're donating to us and that we feel like we're giving you... some sort of value there.
Right. And again, now this is going to turn into the same discussion we've had, though.
No, okay. So I think that where we've landed on this episode...
the Patreon people are saying, we like the podcast and we know it doesn't make any money, so we're giving you some money. And God bless. Like you said, it's like a little donation jar, and I absolutely appreciate the hell out of that.
I think we've officially landed at a happy medium on this episode.
Word.
www.patreon.com Listen to Brunch.
www.patreon.com Listen to Brunch.
So, Michael Kiwanuka's new album is excellent. Check that out. It's produced by Danger Mouse, and that guy just cannot miss. If you haven't, go back, listen to Norah Jones's Little Broken Hearts album. It's one of my favorites. I've been doing some personal of the decade stuff in my old notepad on my phone, going through the years of what was my favorite album, what are my favorite songs, and Little Broken Hearts by Norah Jones is one that stands out to me. Continuing on this cool subject of music and tying back to really the open of this episode, they announced 2 headliners of Boston Calling, and one was a band we just discussed, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yep.
Don't need to say any more on them. The other was Foo Fighters, and yeah, it was mixed emotions because on one hand, I was happy that Foo Fighters coming to Boston. I can go see them. They're a great live band. And the other was, I'm going to have to get off Twitter for the day because Foo Fighters have become the new band where everybody is so excited to let you know I'm not that into Foo Fighters. I don't think Foo Fighters are that good, actually. No one fucking cares. Be nicer. They're a great band. And even if you don't think they're great, it's not a badge of honor to say that you don't like something that has generally been a very positive thing.
It's literally just like that meme or that quote or whatever that's like, not liking things doesn't make you interesting.
Yes. Is that a thing?
That's a thing. That's
good.
A thing that exists.
Good.
And it's a very smart thing to keep in mind because there are people out there whose entire basis of being interesting is them not liking popular things.
Yeah. They were this was a subject on Time Crisis. I don't know if it was recently because I've just been binging all the old episodes, so it could have been a million years ago. But would you rather hang out with the dopey guy who's always a little stoned and doesn't take anything seriously, or the guy who's just had it with the dopey stoned guy?
Oh, and for sure, the dopey stoned
guy. You would
100%.
absolutely rather the dumb, simple, ignorance is bliss person than the I am going to take this all so seriously. So you know what?
That's like
breathe.
Asking, would you rather be entertained or be completely exhausted all the fucking time?
Right. What's more exhausting? A person who's going to complain about everything. So I don't get the wearing the I don't like Foo Fighters as a badge of honor thing. So
I think I sort of get where it's come from because Foo Fighters aren't that great anymore. They release new stuff and nobody's like, oh my god, Foo Fighters, hell yeah. Or there's very few people that still feel that way, but the Foo Fighters are still a really good band.
Right, oh yeah, and they're a classic rock band.
And how are you going to get upset when Foo Fighters get a show at headlining a festival like Boston Calling? I know Boston Calling's been bigger in the past couple of years. But they're still a fucking Foo Fighters. They still put on like an unbelievable show. They still sell out like everywhere they play.
Right.
So pretty good get.
Yeah, it very much annoys me.
And like I said last week that like I'm not the biggest Red Hot Chili Peppers fan.
Yeah.
It's still pretty exciting that they're playing Boston Calling.
Yeah, and I was talking to friends yesterday who like haven't seen them before, and they were like, "Hey, like I know they've become like a punching bag over the last decade or so, but like I grew up in the '90s.
Right.
I loved Red Hot Chili Peppers just like absolutely all of us did. So
it's a situation where it's like I'm not going to buy tickets to go see Red Hot Chili Peppers, but if they're playing a festival and I'm there,
that's what we did at Lollapalooza.
I'm not going to be like I don't have any interest in seeing them.
Right, that's what we did at Lollapalooza. Like we were there for other bands, but it's like let's hang out. Like it's always fun to be there at the end of a festival anyway. Just like it gets dark and like the crowd's the biggest, and if you're into that, it's just a cool scene, and you're always going to know whatever band it is. So it's a fine, enjoyable thing. Just don't, again, like, Greta Van Fleet deserves it. And Greta Van Fleet hasn't done anything yet. But, like, Dave Grohl, whether or not he can be a little exhausting, I would agree. And I probably wouldn't want to be a member of Foo Fighters because he's probably tough to work for because he's probably demanding. Like, I don't know. I've, like, done all this fan fiction in my head. But he's like, a legend. Like, you don't need to like Bruce Springsteen to know, like, he's put out some great albums, and he is an iconic member of rock history. So, like I think that people view I think that those people that like shit on the Foo Fighters are like, Foo Fighters is like a rock band for people who don't even really like rock. To which I say, like
what do
get
you
over
think
yourself?
rock
Like,
is?
Because no, some people say that about like Run the Jewels, where like Run the Jewels, like no matter what your preference of music is, you're probably going to enjoy Run the Jewels.
Yeah, because they're fucking awesome.
Right, yes, right, yeah. and that's the way that the Foo Fighters is. Like, people who like dumb country pop stuff are probably into the Foo Fighters. People who mainly listen to rap fucking would enjoy a Foo Fighters show.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like I've said the word accessible 8 times.
No, accessible is a big part of
this
pop
episode.
culture analysis. no, that it's a very important thing.
Yeah, and Foo Fighters are very accessible.
And yeah,
so
you're
Run the Jewels. And
so
like liking accessible things doesn't make you like lame, or like not liking accessible things doesn't make you cool.
Right. In fact, it might make you a bit of a douchebag, and it might mean that you're overthinking things a little bit. So like, yeah, just show a little love.
But also, if you're watching the very accessible The Office in 2019, shut up, nobody cares.
Oh no! I need Jared to be insufferable. I can't believe I haven't already texted him during the show. Let's run through some songs that people are sick of, that have been around forever, that are like,
call them accessible songs.
Annoying classic songs. Yes, very accessible. They've been accessed too much. And ask, but is the song good?
Okay.
I got an argument over the always controversial Crazy Train.
Crazy Train is there are so many people that hate Crazy Train, but Crazy Train's a pretty good song.
Crazy Train's a good song. You're just sick of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Crazy Train's a good song. All right. Stick with Foo Fighters. Best of You. Gets mocked a lot.
Very good song.
That's an awesome song.
Yeah.
It's an awesome
Very good
song.
song.
2 for 2. Call Me Maybe.
Not really a good song.
It's a stupid song,
Yeah.
but like I think it's a good song.
It's a very stupid song, and like I have a bone to pick with "Call Me Maybe" because it has made Carly Rae Jepsen the "Call Me Maybe" girl.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I resent that because it's not even in like the top 10 of her.
Not top
even.
20.
Yeah. Like every song on the last 2 albums that she's put out
Yeah.
has been better than "Call Me Maybe."
Store or Call Me Maybe?
Store is better.
Store rules.
Store is amazing.
Yeah.
And like Store is very dumb at its root, but it's also like a very funny song.
Store is like a Father John Misty song. It's
Yes.
you think that you
Clearly
understand the
in on the
joke well
joke.
enough.
Yeah.
You're pretty sure.
So Call Me Maybe, I'm still going to say not a very good song.
We Didn't Start the Fire.
Oh, man. Not a good song.
Biggest Billy Joel fan in the world. That is not a good song.
Yeah.
That's a stupid song. It's got the chord progression that I'm always knocking.
Are people tired?
1, 5, 6,
do
4.
people knock River of Dreams?
I was considering making that one
Because I'll very much land on the opposite there.
the
River of
stupid
Dreams
in the middle of the night song.
River of Dreams, fucking amazing song.
A+
Yeah.
song.
Yeah,
That
okay.
song is great, and it's off it's a beloved album. But that, like in my heart, I know, and I grew. That was like my first exposure to Billy Joel. My mom always played the album when I was a kid. As an adult, that's one of the couple of CDs I have in my car.
Yeah.
And that album, that's like a bad album. There are like good songs, but it is just such a bad album.
I sang my first exposure to maybe Billy Joel, but definitely River of Dreams. I sang it in like 3rd grade chorus.
Nice.
And so like I always that song, like I don't take it seriously, but it's such a fucking awesome song.
Nothing like a bunch of white children singing
Hey,
a
I grew up-
song
I
by
grew up in a very
white
diverse-
man appropriating African music.
I grew up in a very diverse elementary school.
Word. Here's one. Dancing in the Dark.
Great song.
Such a great song.
Yes.
I
I'm
love that
stunned
song
at
so much.
That song is awesome, and that is always whenever anybody brings up Bruce Springsteen, I say, "So, what do you think about Dancing in the Dark?"
Yeah.
because I'm gonna judge you if you say you don't like that song.
That is Rushmore Springsteen.
It's so good.
That's such a... Oh, man, I wish that there were a Springsteen head here right now that would lose their mind.
Yeah.
Like, no, because like that's his... Or I guess Born in the USA would be, but like that's his like Piano Man, which is another one. Like that's a bad song. Don't Stop Believing.
Very good.
That is a bad
That is a
song.
very good song.
I got no use for that song.
I like that song.
You Make My Dreams.
Very good.
Very good. Good song. Sex on Fire.
Very good.
I think it's a good song.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
And like that song was, I don't know if was it that song or was it another Kings Leon song that like.
Use Somebody.
Yeah, Use Somebody is a really good song.
Use Somebody's annoying, but it's a good song.
It's a good song. Like Kings Leon was one of those bands that like when they were very, very popular, they were super popular,
Yeah.
and their songs got so overplayed, and everybody started to like hate them. And I was like, man, in 20 years, somebody's gonna hear the song and be like, damn, that was a good song.
Well, Use Somebody, I think, was an early culprit of the Whoa chorus. That there were two things that really infiltrated pop music for a time, and I don't know if it's done yet. I think the Whoa chorus is still happening. Choruses of "Oh" or "Whoa," for example, Some Nights.
That Lumineers song.
Well, that was no, that was just the Haze
Hey,
and the Hose.
Oh, yeah.
Which, God bless that. I liked Haze were happening for a while, but that was mainly in folk rock, and it led to was it Prius commercial 2?
No, no, generic pop song.
Okay, what-
generic pop song number 3. Which,
Okay.
by the way, I
All
think
those
that
songs-
is no, but I think generic pop song number 3. I believe that's what it is.
Yeah.
I say this completely non-ironically.
Yeah.
Like one of Father John Misty's best songs.
Oh yeah, he had a lot of those songs. A lot of the generic pop songs were very good, and he just like didn't want to do them because he probably didn't think they were for him. But I'm like, yo, like see ya that shit. Just like sell that to somebody.
Yeah, it's generic
Like-
pop song number 3.
I feel. Oh yeah, so this was like the O chorus.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
This song is fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I
Generic pop song number 3. Great.
great song, great song.
The hotly contested Father John Misty generic pop song number 3. Yeah, great. He didn't really, I don't think, he didn't really cash in much on the, like, from the guy who brought you Hold Up. You know?
No,
Right? Like, he should have.
Hold Up.
By Beyonce?
Oh yeah, no, I didn't even know that he did that. I don't think.
Yeah. Hold Up was Ezra Koenig was listening to Map. You know, it's on Maps by Yaz. Wait, they don't love you like I love you.
Yeah.
He just tweeted one day like, "Hold up, they don't love you like I love you." And Beyonce, I'm gonna totally bastardize this story. I apologize, but Beyonce was like, "Yo, that's like that works. Like let's make that a song." So like, I think Ezra got the sample, the boom da dum da 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 da,
Yeah.
and then sent it to Father John, then sent it to Josh Tillman, and Josh Tillman wrote the melody and like the words and everything, and then they like sent it around to a few more people, and like they added in the like "Turn My Swag On" part, and that's why like I think that song is one of the ones that people use on those memes that are like, it took 600 people to write this stupid Beyonce song. Like, "Hold Up" is one of the best songs ever. So get out of here.
Yeah, I didn't realize he clearly isn't cashing that check because I didn't even know that he wrote that song.
Yeah,
What a king.
I mean, he wrote that Lady Gaga song that she accepted, and then he was like, "Oh, you do want it? This would be a hit for you? Never mind." It's called "Real Love, Baby." What a tune. Yeah, I wonder if he's doing that though, like still in the like writing for other people game, because he can clearly
he gave a song to Khalid on Khalid's last.
Oh,
album.
you're right, and
it's a very good song, but like I can't listen to that song and not think about Father John Misty doing it because it is completely up his alley. I don't know why he would give that song away.
I can't hear that song without thinking of the quote he gave that killed me and made me feel a million years old. That was like,
I grew up listening to Father
and
John
I grew
Misty.
up listening to Father John. Like when freaking Tillman comes in and he's got this stuff. Who knows when he wrote it? Maybe like 95. I don't know. Maybe some of his real early stuff. Like I'm pretty sure Fear Fun came out in like 2011 or something.
But Khalid is also like 17
4
years
years old.
Yeah.
Right? And like
that
best.
would make sense like 10 years ago.
Right.
Basically, was when Father John Misty burst on the scene, and he was like, and Khalid was like 7 years old.
Yeah. So, "Sex on" or "Use Somebody" was a big culprit of the O chorus phenomenon, and there was also every song used the same interval that is in California Girls. You know the oh like
Yeah.
Every song for like 3 years had that part. So for a couple years, every single song sounded the same. And then Jack Antonoff came to the rescue and made sure that every song sounds the same in his way.
Made sure that every song ever sounds exactly the same, so you wouldn't notice on the old stuff.
"Can't Hold Us" by Macklemore.
Bad song.
Oh, come on. It's a
Bad
good song.
Bad song.
I mean, a lot of Macklemore stuff in hindsight, you hear like the "Can I kick it? Thank you." You're like, ooh, it's a little douchey. But when has douchey stopped greatness?
Yeah, Ceiling Can't Hold Us is I think maybe I've just heard too much from Macklemore that like it's all just the same.
Oh, I mean, his star has faded, and no one gives a
yes.
shit about Macklemore anymore. But that album's good. Like in hindsight, like I was saying
One
that
of my favorite things ever, though, by the way, was
Popstar?
Yes,
Yes.
I'm Not Gay or whatever it
Yeah.
is. Unbelievable.
But even that song, not to like hit a third rail topic, that was a well-intentioned song.
Yeah, for sure.
It was executed as best a guy in 2013, a straight white guy in 2013 could with his tiny little brain. And he tried, and it was probably really uncomfortable for a lot of people to hear, but that, and I don't know if you would call it a misstep, but that misstep brought about like, hey, here's why this line of thinking is misguided.
I don't think it's necessarily a misstep, but like I don't think it has the total self-awareness that like maybe somebody should have when they're making a song.
So I'm saying
like
that lack of self-awareness, like it has taken people saying, I have gay friends, for everybody to understand, hey, dummy,
right?
I have gay friends. What is that? That doesn't expunge you from shit, and it doesn't really give you any perspective because you don't know their life and you don't know what they deal. You're not. You having gay friends doesn't mean that you deal with what a gay. You fucking idiot! Slap him 10 times in the head. It takes somebody making that stupid point and having that stupid thought for it to be pointed out.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hopefully, politely, with the understanding of this person's not saying this stupid thing maliciously,
Right.
And then you make progress bit by bit.
Right.
So
And then you get made fun of by Andy Samberg, and it's
right.
hilarious.
Oh, that was way funnier. And way better. The Macklemore fatigue, though. I don't know. Like in that moment and in that time, that was a good album, and
I don't think I've ever seen anybody like fade away as quickly by doing the exact same thing.
Right, he kept doing it.
He never changed anything that he did. Everybody just wanted to hear it once, and then they were like, "Okay, I've had enough of that."
Right. What's it called? Downtown was a great song. That one I won't even put into this conversation because it was A+.
Yeah.
That song, I don't know, why didn't that Eric Nally guy blow up after that? He was he
He's
stole
a star
the
of that
show.
video.
Downtown. He was terrific. Foxy Shazam was that guy's band. We'll wrap it up on, I guess, a topical one because 'tis the season and everyone's always being cynical and annoying about this one. Wonderful Christmas Time.
Not a good song.
Such a good song.
Not a good song.
Why?
I believe we just discussed this before. I cannot stand that song. It is the most annoying fucking song.
Yeah, but we like Store.
Yes, but it is.
We like Boy
But like,
Problems.
Store hits me. Like,
And apologies to Carly Rae Jepsen. You're the next 10 examples I have for this.
Store hits like all the annoying bones in the right way. I don't know what it is about. Like simply having a wonderful Christmas time.
Paul rarely has the self-awareness with his silly things. It just sounds like when Paul does silly songs, you're like for example, silly love songs. That's probably the only self-aware one because he's like actually talking about how people are sick of that shit. But generally, when he does something that you're like, this is a little stupid, you don't know whether or not it's earnest or not.
Yeah.
So I'll at least give the haters that. But that is, man, people get very excited when it's Wonderful Christmas Time isn't that good a song, Susan.
I'm not like active about it, but when that song comes on, man, I'd rather hear like a million others. Even you say, like doing this right now is making me break out because I really don't like that song.
I love it. Just like sonically, what a cool song. It's like plays around with the delay, I think, right? Like one. Yeah, sometimes it's sometimes quarter notes, sometimes got triplets going on. That song, man. Yeah, very, very good song. Would you, off the top of your head, any submissions, any ones that we're missing? Because we've hit like a lot of the classic. People are sick of this song. Hell's Bells by AC/DC.
Not great.
I think that you could argue that every AC/DC song is bad.
Yeah.
And I grew up loving AC/DC, but I totally understand. AC/DC is so fucking stupid.
Yeah, very, very stupid. What about like what's a big Mumford & Sons song?
I was gonna say I Will Wait, because which song is The Cave? And I will da 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 but da 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 da.
Yeah, I believe so.
That's The Cave.
Yeah.
That song is I need a higher letter than A because that song is
great.
incredible. Mumford & Sons has some incredible songs.
They have. I like. Yeah, Winter Winds is an unbelievable song. Little Lion Man is a pretty.
Little
good
Lion
one.
Man is great.
But I Will Wait's not a good song.
It's not. I Will Wait was just the.
That was like my like I'm gonna steer off this road sort of like I don't want to.
Right, like I'm kind of done with these guys.
I'm good.
Well, it was good. They played right into the Grammys' hands. If you're a band that everybody likes and the Grammys is behind on, if you keep doing the exact same thing you were doing before, Grammys will call you Best New Artist and then give you Album of the Year. And I'm pretty sure the I Will Wait album won Album of the Year. When the one with The Cave and Little Lion, man, that's when people were like, yo, Mumford & Sons is this dope, brooding folk rock band.
And remember there's that video of them playing at like some barbecue pit in front of like 15 people, and they were
So
playing.
good.
They were playing one of those songs. It was,
Yeah.
I think it was The Cave.
Yeah.
and I think they're playing it for like 15 people in like however many years ago, and it was the exact
It's
same
just
arrangement.
right. They yep. They had all their parts parts worked
and
out.
we're like, holy shit, this song's fucking unbelievable, and like half the people are not paying attention to the song at all.
Similarly, you can find video of Haim in I think like
A bowling alley.
2000. It's either 2007, 8, 9 or something. Playing The Wire in like an auditorium,
That's so weird.
and like Alana's probably like 12 or 13 or something, and like more or less, it's like very similar. And
that
you're
is
like,
that's so annoying.
those
Like,
kids just like banged out The Wire when they were, I don't know, just teenagers.
It's just
rainy
very,
day.
very annoying that like that you can have a perfect song and it just doesn't matter if not like the right person doesn't hear it.
Yeah,
That's very annoying.
yeah. Well,
That's like having a podcast, like the perfect podcast, and just you get no sponsors
you
because
just
nobody
get
hears it.
no money from Patreon.
What's God got to do with fate and circumstance? Forever or a one-night stand? You can have faith, or you can be a man. While we lay around, I can tell you where I stand. Oh, 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 oh. We are blind and I'm yours, but I know this for sure now. Oh, I'm no faithful servant no more. No more hands to the sky, no more knees on the floor. All I owe you is my love. Still here for you if it's still enough. Oh, one thing is certain, the world don't need us. So forget what they say, it's not the same. We'll try again and I'll die that way. Oh, 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 yes, here again, the divine comedy with my favorite demons. Left my life somewhere at the bottom of these drinks, and I'll just pay tomorrow for what all I spent this weekend. Oh, 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 we are blind and I'm yours, but I know this for sure now. Oh, I'm no faithful servant no more. No more hands to the sky, no more knees on the floor. All I owe you is my love. Still here for you if it's still enough. Oh, one thing is certain, the world don't need us. So forget what they say, it's not the same. We'll try again and I'll die that way. All I owe you is myself. Every other person is just someone else. So give me your sins when they are giving you hell. I'll look the other way. God, don't explain. Look at my face and let it fade. Oh, 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 is my love still here for you if it's still enough? Oh, one thing is certain, the world don't need us. Let's forget what they say, it's not the same. Try again and I'll die that way.